When an object doesn't have a box to sit in, it spills and slips and slides into places it's not supposed to be, like your mouth or my mouth or the dirty pavement or into the salt of a stranger's sweat. You walk the freeway overpass between the train station and your front door and practice your spitting. You fling your saliva onto the pavement only to step into it a couple seconds later. Right now, you're thinking about how to make something that is timeless, something you can spit out and step back into over and over again. And you'll never say, "Not this again. We're so sick of this. We have had enough." How do you write a timeless piece about something so demarcated in time? Part 1. Self-fulfilling prophecies. You go see Rocky Horror in drag, passing around a flask to suck between scenes, and then the flask is empty, and then the movie is over. You buy a pint of whiskey and fill the flask up again. You are in the red leather booth at a 1950s style diner where you empty the flask back out into vanilla thick shakes hidden under the table. Make a drink with me. 1 scoop of vanilla ice cream, 1 cup of ice, 1 cup of milk, and 1 shot of whiskey. There is no more thick shake. You all leave the diner and stand on the pavement, taking turns spitting into the palm of Miso's hand. You haven't seen them in a long time. You want to show them how much you missed them. You scroll Instagram in March and someone posts a story like, "I won't be having sex for 6 months anyway," but they're being ridiculous. They're being dramatic. Throughout his life, Felix Gonzalez Torres created 19 works made of candy, piles of individually wrapped sweets, some weighing as much as 2,000 pounds, some as little as 42, pushed up towards the corner of a room or dumped right in the middle of one. The piles are barricaded by nothing, so they spill and sink. Each piece of candy is individually wrapped, sealed away from what is familiar. Sometimes the candy spills are replenished. Sometimes they wane until there's nothing left. Gonzalez Torres died of AIDS in 1996. Suck on art with me. Unwrap a piece of candy. Put it in your mouth. Discard the wrapper by throwing it onto the ground. While sucking, think of the inside of your mouth. Think of the inside of every mouth in the world. There are 2 ways to look at the avant-garde. The first being that it is a way to isolate. The second being that it is a way to build community. Section people off for not getting it. Build new kinds of love. Its sticky core thumps with the very few people who get it. Urine with me. COVID-19 is not a sexually transmitted infection, but COVID-19 can be passed through saliva, and kissing will likely be involved. So, transmission during sex with someone who has COVID-19 is absolutely possible. A year ago, Maurizio Catalan installed Comedian at Art Basel, and it sold for $120,000 US. It became very famous very quickly. Comedian was perpetually swaddled in crowd, people elbowing through bodies to get a closer look at a banana dressed in plastic. You think about digging a tunnel, to take you somewhere new, to look at something new. Those that have nothing to do with you stay that way so easily. Buy a banana and pay for it with your debit card. Scroll your contact list and delete the dusty numbers. You talk to your psychologist about being sad. It's not one of those revelatory sessions that breathes like breakthrough. It is slow. The vowels come from your gut. You think you are confusing sad with lonely, lonely with horny. You do not tell him this. Instead, you promise you'll make yourself rich dinners once a week and eat them alone, as though it is nurturing, as though it is choice. 2 days after Art Basel opened, David Datuna ate the $120,000 banana. He walked up to it and took it off the wall and bit into it and called the performance piece Hungry Artist. Suck on art with me again. Buy a banana and pay for it with your debit card. Start walking home. Unpeel the banana. Take a bite. Swallow it. The house is so quiet now. From the other side of the room, you can hear my throat go gwomp, like a marble squeezing past a glass eye. You take a bottle of arak and a pitcher of water into your bedroom and pour one into the other, and little by little pour the combination into your body. You dance, and then you vomit, and the next morning you are too embarrassed to tell anyone the extent of it. It's not that you did these things, but rather that you did them alone. Detox with me. Grab half a thumb of ginger, take little bites and chew. Do not swallow between bites. You want to eventually transfer all the ginger from being solid in your hand to mushy in your mouth. Spit it out into a small metal bowl. Are you thinking about self-fulfilling prophecies too? And history repeating itself? And parallels? And what all those things would look like if they were shapes? Do you think the first one would look like this? And the second like this? And then the third would be this, naturally. You wear white singlets under all your clothes now. The armpits go yellow, and you do not use Clorox when doing your load of whites. You have something to prove. Look what my body can do. Put a Ken doll against an action man, make them kiss, get things heated. Still, it will be a straight line kissing a straight line. They don't bend how you want them to. They can't soften with spit and heat. Soften something with spit and heat with me. Put a stick of gum in your mouth. Chew it for 30 seconds. Think back to that diagram that promoted mask wearing. It went viral on Twitter and on Instagram. Gray 3D renderings of people standing face to face against a black background. In the space between them, a blast of spit particles. Half the particles are blue, half are red. The two intermingling, the space between them softening with spit and heat.